People are celebrating when they have just received the news and the things. And now this is what is happening. Yes, yes, old woman. Yes, in the avenues.
Last year, Crosswinds Church partnered with Hands on Africa in our Life Abundantly project. For those of you that don't yet know about the Life Abundantly project, this project was started to help transform the current conditions of the lives of people in Africa, especially focusing on rural areas where there are not much assistance. Instead of giving handouts that does not bring about lasting change, we focus on walking beside them for a year, not only giving them the tools to reach self-sustainability, but also mentorship and guidance. We provide them with seeds and fertilizer and teach them how to cultivate the soil and plant the seeds effectively. We also provide them with food for the 5 months while they wait on their first harvest. We also provide them with other tools to live healthy lives, such as water filtration systems, mosquito nets, and eventually self-composting ablution facilities. Crosswinds Church generously agreed to sponsor one community of 10 families in the village of Katima in Malawi. Many of these families are widows that not only cares for their own children, but have taken in orphans from the village under their care as well. In developing countries such as Malawi, widows are among the poorest and most vulnerable individuals in the economy. This is especially the case in rural areas such as Katima village. Together with Crosswinds Church, we are able to provide these families with sustainable solutions that will give lasting change to the way they live. The project started last year November when the seeds and fertilizer was delivered to the families. They eagerly started planting, and soon 5 acres of corn and 5 acres of soya beans was planted. We supplied them with emergency food for the 5 critical months while they wait for the crops to be ready to be harvested. This provided food for 54 family members and 20 orphans of the community. Part of the program, we ask each family to provide 1 meal a day to 2 orphans in the community. These orphans in villages like Katima often live by themselves or with extended family members that are unable to take care of their most basic needs, such as food. But what we have found is that these families are so grateful for what the Lord has done for them that they go beyond just providing the meal and have taken in these orphans into their own homes. In February this year, each family received a water filtration system to filter the contaminated water they collect. These filters help eliminate 99.9% of harmful bacteria, resulting in healthy families. Each family also received a Bible. For many of them, this was the first Bible they ever owned. We visited the village last month and gave them mosquito nets to provide protection from malaria mosquitoes, which is the 3rd largest cause of death in Malawi. The corn and soya beans had been harvested by then, and everyone testified about what an amazing harvest they had, like never before. It was the first time that they had ever planted soybeans in this area. We encouraged them to plant soybeans as meat is hard to come by and soybeans contain a lot of protein, making it a much more healthier meal than just maize alone. The next step in the program is to provide them with livestock. We will provide each family with goats and chickens, which will be used for breeding, and of course, milk and eggs. In September, we will build self-composting ablution facilities for these families, something that is much needed in rural areas like Katima village. But most importantly, these families receive training not only in effective farming techniques, but with discipleship teaching, we instill Christian principles which they can then in turn share with their neighbors. What stood out for me most about our trip was that the families were so grateful for what the Lord had provided that they themselves felt the need to give. We were given gifts of sweet potatoes, bananas, ground nuts, and potatoes that came from their own gardens. They have so little, and yet of what they have, they gladly share with others. This is the fruit of a life lived abundantly. Thank you to everyone who participated in this project, whether with prayer or funds. You have made a lasting difference in the lives of many.